Hi everybody. I wanted to do this little video here, and I just got my new phone, so I'm also trying out my new camera. This is probably just for the newbies, more experienced people in doing these glitter tumblers know this, but on the group page, I constantly see people complaining about how right after they have done their epoxy, how awful the finish looks. Well, come on, there we go. The rippling, the pits, the fish eyes, dimples, whatever. Okay, number one, just resign yourself that every glitter item that you make, bottle, cup, whatever, is going to do this after the first coat of epoxy. Glitter absorbs this stuff like a sponge. And so even though to you it may look even after you get done putting all the glitter on, it is not an even surface. And it's also very porous because there's spaces in between where the glitter is at. That's why you're going to see this finish, this effect. Also, like right here, I can feel where there's a lot of glitter, you know, where it was kind of like built up a little bit when I was putting it on. Now this isn't bad. Now, I just opened up this box of epoxy. The other one I had was starting to be a little yellow on the B side. So I decided to go ahead and open up the second box that I have. Now, telling you this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to put your first layer of epoxy on and then wet sand it. Wet sanding, and I can hear it. That's me rubbing my hand over the glitter that's sticking up. So you're going to have to wet sand it. That's all you're just going to have to. There's no way to get around it. But once you do that, and when you're using such a fine grit of sandpaper, it will smooth it out. Then you put your decal on. Then you do another layer of epoxy. And I would suggest that it be a thin coat. Now this is the finger method. I've done a video on the finger method where you just take and rub the epoxy on with a gloved finger. You know, you go this direction first. Hear that? And then go back and forth this way. And then what I did with this, I don't understand, it must be physics. I turned it up like this and left it, and it did not drip. I could see it move, but I guess by the time that it started to get down this direction, it pretty much hardened up enough not to go any further. Another thing is that when you're doing these glitter cups, don't freak out when you put, I did yesterday, this, and it looks lighter in the camera than it does in person, but when I started putting the epoxy on, this color darkened. And I was like, oh my God, please. Now, like I said, in the camera, it's fuchsia again, but to me, when I'm looking at it here in person, it's still kind of dark. But that's another thing to consider, is that this epoxy on some of your colors may darken it just a bit. So anyway, I just wanted to let y'all know to expect this. This is what's going to happen with glitter items, and I don't think it's going to matter what you're doing, cups, bottles, even on ceramic cups. It's going to do this because the glitter will absorb. I had done one mix of epoxy and put that on, and by the time I got halfway around the bottle, I was out of epoxy. Wherever I'd put it on, it soaked it up so much, so I had to quickly mix up another batch. And I made a little bit more this time and put it right on, after leaving it sit for a little bit and letting the bubbles dissipate. But I put it right on, and I did that last night, and it is completely cured. So if you run into that situation too where you didn't mix up enough and you have to quickly mix up another batch and put it on, if you do it correctly, half and half, it will cure. But you're going to have to sand this. It doesn't matter. The epoxy will be absorbed by the glitter. Okay? So, just wanted to let y'all know that's what's happening. This is part of the process of doing this kind of cup. If you're doing a regular cup with just paint on it, it's not gonna, you probably can do one application of epoxy and you're done. Or do the baking method. But if you're doing glitter, you're going to get this rippling no matter what. So anyway, just wanted to let y'all know. Bye.